Hello everybody, back here finally again putting out a video, this one being the Week 8 CFL recap. And before we start, wanted to say please make sure to subscribe if you are new. Also, I apologize for not getting out a video in almost a week. Wi-Fi went out, live in a fairly rural area, was only able to upload one 3-minute video on my other channel, Hockey Brigade. So yeah, back to making content and talking about these games from this week. The first one, of course, of this recap is Montreal at Hamilton. The Ticats were able to build a very good 24-6 lead early into the fourth quarter of this game. You saw Dane Evans have some moments. Matthew Schultz was also in this game. It looks like they will bring Schultz in at a variety of times and have a dual QB role, and we got to see a good Schultz show for that. So we saw the Tabbies have what looked to be a winning lead. That was not the case though, in the sense that it was not comfortable, as you had a Cote field goal, Reggie Mayala touchdown, and then a successful 2-point conversion to make it a one-score game with the Owls behind just by 7. And it would be very intense in the final moments. You had the Alouettes driving with Trevor Harris, getting them deep into Hamilton territory before being taken off the field for a safety measure after he had a hit. And then you had Davis throw a pick on the ensuing play, giving Hamilton a win in a very close game, and then closing the gap between them and Montreal in the East, which is big for their playoff hopes. And then also, side note for this, aside from the weird ending, wanted to say 12 of 16 of Trevor Harris's incompletions were pass deflections. So tight coverage, question mark. But yeah, that was that game. And then of course we had the next game, BC at Saskatchewan. The BC Lions win 32-17. Didn't think that was going to be the case. Again, the Wi-Fi was out, so just trying to get a game to pull up was not doing very well. And I saw the score 17-4. The Riders were up early. Then BC proceeded to go on a 28-0 run to complete the comeback. Cody Fajardo, in surprising fashion, held to 168 passing yards, going 18 for 27. Like I said before, going into this in my preview that I did, I said Cody Fajardo did not need to play. This would be silly. And here we are now. They have another loss, and they made Fajardo play while he has been battling with that knee injury. Didn't play particularly well. On the bright side, though, for Saskatchewan, Charleston Hughes had a sack in the first quarter and is now 5th all-time in the CFL for career sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, big win for BC, another loss for the Rough Riders. Now, moving on over to Calgary in southern Alberta, you had the Blue Bombers taking on the Stampeders again. Winnipeg would go on to win this one 35-28. Holy cow, game of the year type vibes in the regular season. You had 8 lead changes. There was 6 penalties all in all, so it was a pretty clean game in that regard. Brady Oliveira had a big game here. He had some big runs. Kadeem Carey also had some big moments, Peyton Logan and Aaron Grant as well in the return game. I think it was in the return game. He might have had a carry that was pretty long. I cannot remember. But we just saw a show between these two sides. You had Dalton Schoen, of course, putting on a show. And then you had Nick Dembski return. He had a good game as well. Reggie Bagleton played well, as we saw back and forth. And eventually, the Blue Bombers were able to win this one thanks to a Zach Kloros touchdown throw to Dalton Schoen into double coverage into the end zone. Just boom, right over the top. Nobody can get it there. Schoen able to get his feet in, just comfortably do that for them to get the lead. And then Leggio had a long-ish field goal that ended up giving them the 7-point lead. Calgary had a chance to try to tie this game up, but they were deep in their own end, so they were not able to do that. And the Blue Bombers moved to 8-0, win the season series against the Stampeders in a very exciting game. Like I said, the other one was exciting as well. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get a playoff matchup between the two, because if they meet and the games are as good as we've seen the other times, then we are in for a show. And moving on to our final game of the week, Ottawa at Toronto. First half honestly made it seem like Toronto was probably going to win the game. They were able to move the ball more effectively. They might have had over doubled the first downs that the Red Blacks had. I can't remember off the top of my head. I was able to watch this game kind of, but it was really grainy. It looked like maybe like a game from the 60s or 70s. and it was rough to watch. But the game in itself was fun. You had the Red Blacks able to send this game into halftime, but tied up as Jalen Acklin was a monster on the field was targeted 10 times, had 7 receptions, had another 100+ yard game, his 3rd in a row, but scored that major with less than 30 seconds left to go in the first half, and they were able to get the PAT to make it even at the break. Then it was Toronto's offense who really couldn't get it going in a lot of ways in the second half, and a big thing that stuck out to me here, Andrew Harris had 19 yards on 10 carries in the game, which blows my mind. And all in all, the Argonauts had some bad drops, and in general just looking kind of ugh. The Red Bikes, led by Caleb Evans, did very well. His final 22 passes, he was 20 for 22 and didn't turn the ball over. Had a very timely TD pass to Nate Bahar there in the 7-minute marker. There was about 7 minutes left in the fourth, and we saw Ottawa pick up their first win of the season. Very, very interesting thing here, though, because their playoff hopes are back alive. Toronto couldn't pull away from the rest of the pack as the East stays close, just like we thought it would be. What are your thoughts on this week? And what will you say will be the biggest takeaway for you? Let me know down below in the comments. Please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you are new. Everybody, please stay safe. Have a great night.